Hello, beauties. I wanted to jump on this morning because I was thinking about why and how I've been able to remain sober and why I am so passionate about personal development and personal growth. A lot of you already know, but February of last year, after my final and last relapse on drugs and alcohol, I had a life-changing, it wasn't exactly an aha moment, but the situation in and of itself, having my mom dying in the other room and having her see me party for a few days and just having that hangover and just having that remorse and that guilt and shame and just wondering what the hell I was doing with my life and why I let myself slip back into old patterns and why I just felt so weak. Like, why can't I handle stress? Why do I have to resort to alcohol and drugs even after being sober for a few years? Why wasn't I equipped yet? You would think after a few years of sobriety, I would be able to get through the tough times without slipping up. And I just knew that something needed to change. In that moment, there was a shift, and I was desperate, and I just said to myself, something has to change. Something big has to change. Like, this cannot go on, because life is going to throw you curveballs, and this isn't going to be the last thing that you go through that is tough. There's going to be so much more in your life that's going to happen, that's going to be stressful, that's going to test you. So what are you going to do about it? Is this what's going to happen every time? This cannot happen every time. It just can't. It's not an option. Not only is it detrimental to my health and my life, but it's also detrimental to my mental health. I think that was the worst thing about that relapse was that it really messed with my mind, my self-esteem, my mental health. I was depressed beyond belief. I was crying, and just the stupid things that I would do while I was partying, specifically that time, because I was so out of control, and it was a couple days straight. It was just so embarrassing, and I just knew that something needed to change, and I had to look at what I had done the first time around and how I was going to do things different this time around to ensure my success. And that's when I realized that I needed to take a deeper look into why I didn't feel enough, why I didn't feel like I could get through these tough times. Why didn't I have the strength? Why was I feeling like, even though my life had gone pretty good up until that year, like in sobriety, why did I still feel like life was happening to me and all this bad shit was happening to me instead of for me? And why was I still feeling like a victim? And how was I going to get out of that victim mentality? So the two main things that I figured out during this beginning stages of my personal development journey after relapsing was, one, I did not feel like I was enough as a person. I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't have any self-confidence or self-love. I didn't have confidence to, follow my dreams or to do the things that I really wanted to do in life. And I also almost internally felt like I didn't deserve true happiness. I had gone through so much pain throughout my life that it was almost like my identity to be a victim. I felt like it was just part of my story, and it was always going to be part of my story. Bad things were always going to happen, and I was never going to amount to much. So I might as well just accept it for what it is and stop trying to be something I'm not. Because deep down inside, I didn't feel like I was worth much, and I didn't feel like I was enough. I didn't feel like I was enough for true love. I didn't feel like I was enough for good luck. I didn't feel like I was enough to succeed in life. And that couldn't have been further from the truth. That was just a program that I had, and that I had reiterated to myself over the years, to the point where it became my identity. And let me tell you, I'm still working on that one, because it's not something that you programmed yourself to believe for 30 years. It's not just gonna, just once, as soon as you realize it and are aware of it, it doesn't mean it's just gonna go away. No, it's something that you have to continue to retrain your brain with. You have to continue to reprogram yourself. It's not something that you can just change just by simply knowing the difference, you know? You can know that in your mind, but your subconscious mind is the one running the show, and it's your subconscious mind that, one, needs to be retrained, and two, is the hardest to retrain, because it's subconscious, and it's been programmed, and that's where all of your beliefs get stored, and things that you repeat on the daily get stored there. This is your brain. This is the brain that's running the show, whether you want to believe it or not, okay? Yeah, so not being good enough, and my victim mentality. So my victim mentality, yes, I had been a victim in many instances, and that doesn't take away from the fact that I did suffer a lot, and that I deserve to heal from that. You know, I was a victim. But to hold on to the victim mentality wasn't getting me anywhere. So instead of just healing and then growing and then moving forward from the trauma that I had gone through, I was stuck in that identity. And I didn't allow myself to be anything but the victim. And although I thought all those years that I was actually being really strong, like a very strong woman and personality type, and I was being strong, but my mindset was not strong. In fact, because I was so enthralled in my own victim mentality, that's all I was allowing in, and that was all I was allowing myself to see. I was only seeing the bad things that were happening, and when I met new people, that's all I would talk about. I didn't talk about the happy times and the good times, and I didn't reminisce about the good times and the happy times. It literally became my identity to be like self-loathing. And that is really, really a sad existence. And once that becomes your identity, you're not really allowing for any good to come in. You know, you're stuck there, and that's an addiction all in and of itself. Like being addicted to your pain and suffering, and like the victim mentality, and having people feel bad for you, that is actually very addictive behavior as well. And when I got sober this last time, I had to really take a deep look at that and say, okay, enough is enough. We're going to, work on this, because this is not who you want to be for the rest of your life. You know, you aren't going to play victim for the rest of your life. You're not going to let the abusers of your past, you're not going to let your circumstances define the rest of your life, are you? You have to make that decision right now. So if you're watching this and you can resonate with this at all, like if you're newly sober, maybe you're not even an addict, maybe you're watching this and you can just resonate with feeling like life is against you and you have the worst luck in the whole world, or you're resonating with the fact that you don't feel like you're enough, like you're worthy of anything good in life, or you don't have confidence and self-esteem and self-worth and self-love. I want you to know that all of these things can be worked on. These aren't innate qualities. These are things that you learned over time and programming, and usually they'll come from childhood. Okay, so you can change, and you are enough, and you are worth it. Just the simple fact that you were born makes you enough, makes you more than enough, and makes you worthy of the greatest and finest things in life. Whatever you want, you can have, but you have to believe it first. You have to take back control of your mind and do the inner work. There's no getting around it. There's no easy way through this. You have to do the work, plain and simple. And that's what I had to do, and I'm still constantly doing on a daily basis, okay? But definitely in early recovery, what I did was I had to be aware of this, right? So that's the first stage, is just being aware and knowing why you do what you do and that it's an issue. And then doing a lot of research and learning, techniques on how to let go. Like for me, I had to learn how to let go of the past. I had to forgive. I had to forgive my abusers in such a way where it's not giving them the okay for what they did, but just releasing myself from the chains of my past, because I was no longer going to allow them the power to control my present and future self. There's no way I was going to continue on like that. It's just not worth it, leave it in the past. But of course, heal from it first. Allow yourself to heal from it. Give yourself permission to heal from it, and then move on. Let it sit in the past, because there's no room for it in your future, bright, beautiful future. There's no room for that. And then feeling enough. That is quite the challenge. But just know that you are worth it. And I know I'm worth it now. And I can continue to work on it every single day. I remind myself every single day that I am enough, that I am good enough. I have that shit written on my mirror in my bedroom. So as soon as I wake up in the morning, I see it and I remind myself, I am enough. I am enough. I am more than enough. I am worthy of happiness and a good life. And I am going to put in the effort every single day to prove that to myself. Okay? So when you feel unworthy, just catch that negative thought and switch it and tell yourself, I am worthy. I am worthy of love and happiness and joy, and I'm worthy of living my dreams. Don't settle for anything less than that. And I promise you that this will change your life. If you delve into personal development and personal growth and really apply things that you learn daily, don't give up. It takes work. It's not something that you just set and forget. It's not something that you learn. And if you're just learning it and you're reading about it or you're watching this and then you don't do anything with the information provided, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna do anything. So you can't say, that didn't work. No, that doesn't work. You have to actually apply it daily for months, sometimes years, or forever, indefinitely, for it to work. So you have to decide, are you worth it? I think you are. I think you're worth it. I think you are worth putting in the effort. I think that you are worth learning new skills and ways to deal with past trauma and deal with victim mentality. And I think that you're worth loving. I think that you're worth putting in the effort to build self-love and cultivate self-love with yourself. And I hope that you will believe it too. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to write me, because I want to help other women do what I've been able to do for myself. I want to help women in recovery stay sober. And the best way to do that, like I said, is to really learn to love yourself and to appreciate yourself and know that you're enough and that you're worthy of recovery and heal. So my motto is learn, heal, grow, and give back. And right now I am still growing and I am still learning, but I am on a mission to give back. I want to give back. So if you need help, please don't hesitate to contact me. You are worth it. I love you.